And Jacoby is presented by Samuel Adams.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
Jalen, the Dodgers played their way into the World Series. We had a huge upset in boxing on Saturday night, but of course we start with the NFL. Two marquee quarterbacks going back and forth. It was Aaron Rodgers and the Packers who jumped out to a 10-0 lead over the Bucs, but then they would not score again. The Bucs offense looked great all day long. Jalen, what did you see from the Packers that was discouraging?
The Bucs defense looked great all game long. For the Packers, to me, it was a classic example of trying to force feed your number one receiver, Davante Adams. Earlier, so many people were talking about them not taking a wide receiver in the first round. They have a terrific receiver, there he is, but they've been playing well without him. So now you bring him back. There were some things that he did in social media that he had to apologize for throughout the week. And then now you're up 10-0. First couple of times he gets intercepted, look who he's throwing the ball to. Davante Adams. Later in the game, Davante Adams trying to catch the ball inbounds and ended up going out of bounds on a play that he normally makes. And so that distraction to me permeated throughout their offense. Aaron Jones only rushed for 15 yards, though he had a touchdown. Rodgers was spraying the football around before he got a security blanket back. Now, once he returned, he became very reliant on him. I expect that to improve clearly because they're a great combination.
The Bucs defense did look great, pressuring Aaron Rodgers, putting him on his back all day. Their linebackers, White and David, were particularly exceptional. And on the other side of the ball, no penalties for the Bucs, no turnovers for the Bucs, no sacks for the Bucs either. They played pretty well. And also, a gentleman by the name of Rob Gronkowski. Welcome to the 2020 NFL season. We hadn't seen much from him, but he wasn't fast, but he was good. His routes were great and his hands looked great. He had a really impressive catch on a touchdown. They might have unlocked Gronk moving forward this season. Do you think we can expect this kind of production from Gronk moving forward?
Well, here's what's going to happen. You're going to see Tom Brady throw it more to the tight ends and the backs than the actual wide receivers, in particular out wide. So don't expect Mike Evans' fantasy numbers to mirror this year what they did last year. And to your question, yes, he'll be the benefactor of passes from Tom Brady in the middle of the field.
He looks great. It's so good to have him back. And Jalen, Derrick Henry did it again. In the Titans-Texans games, Derrick Henry ran for 212 yards, had this 93-yard touchdown run. Look how fast and how big this human being is. He was so impressive, and in overtime, he had a long pass, catch, and run after the catch, and they put him in Wildcat to score the game-winning touchdown. And after the game, he was anointed King Henry by a teammate. Jalen, I'm going to do the media thing and overreact to one big game. I'm putting him in the MVP conversation. There's about 45 quarterbacks in the MVP conversation right now. Russell Wilson probably taking the lead over that. I'm saying that Derrick Henry, averaging 117 yards per game, should be in the MVP conversation. What do you think about Derrick Henry and the Titans?
I think that's obvious. If you see a guy normally that big who usually is able to stiff-arm defenders at the blink of an eye like it's no big thing, usually he's not the same guy that's going to run a 90-yard touchdown where people can't catch him from behind. And then have the endurance to get you over 200 while getting you 2 TDs in the game. That's why it's only been a few players to do that. But when I was watching that highlight, I figured it out. I think like Samson, his strength is in his hair. And if you really look closely, that might be a parachute. That might be a cape on his back, because those guys have no chance to catch that big fella. And it's great to see a guy like him not only be able to catch it out of the backfield, but line him up in the Wildcat, Jacoby, and plunge him in to win the game.
Absolutely. With that extra blocker in the Wildcat, that wasn't even a particularly well-blocked play when he was in the Wildcat and Tannehill was spread out to his left. He just kind of grabbed the ball and ran it in. It was just beautiful. I love what I saw from them. However, for these Titans to be successful, they're going to need to stop the other team from scoring from time to time. Letting the Texans, who aren't exactly the most powerful offense in the NFL, score that many points is a bit of a concern. But while we celebrate Henry, You see something in Tannehill and the coaching staff for the Titans that they can use moving forward to propel them to more wins. What's that?
Tannehill and Henry got signed in the same offseason. You normally don't see NFL teams do that for their quarterback and their running back. They got both. And when you get drafted by Miami and you have the turbulence that he has, and then you have a name that's not synonymous with the NFL, it's not like his last name Manning. And so now all of a sudden when he goes to another team, it's like, he's all right, but he's not real. And I found myself, I said this last week, and I'm saying it this week, when you're watching your favorite football team play, notice, is my quarterback outperforming Ryan Tannehill? Because he continues to elevate himself. Oh, and also, their team is extremely well coached by Vrabel. Now, that may take it too far and have you possibly get suspended for practicing during COVID. But whether there's a 16-day break or whether it's Tuesday to Sunday, I'm seeing them lining up with precision. I'm seeing their last drive guys picking up the ball, rushing it to the official, lining back up, and then Tannehill getting under center, throwing it to Brown for the game-winning touchdown. If he was considered one of the elite quarterbacks, we'd be showing that time and time again.
Oh, yeah.
Look at how Belichick drew it up. Oh, look at Brady, how he assessed, and he fooled the defense a la Dan Marino back in the day. Now, that was precision. That was terrific coaching by the sideline, but that was great execution by Ryan Tannehill and his team.
This Titan teams beat the Bills in the previous week, and then they beat COVID in between that, and now they have beaten the Texans, but they look forward to their next opponent, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who absolutely dominated the Browns yesterday. The Steelers look great, especially the defense, who was just all over Baker Mayfield, Case Keenum, whoever they had back there. Jalen, Baker Mayfield didn't play great in this one. He was hobbled with a rib, problem. What do you think this says about Baker Mayfield?
We saw this loss coming, and it's not a surprise that they got blown out or even Baker got benched. He makes them the classic front-running team. That's when they play against bad squads, and all of a sudden they're doing double reverses with Odell, and they're throwing it to the tight end, and Baker's running 50 yards down while the guy's trying to score. Then they have a level of energy and confidence. But when somebody comes out initially and stops that and punches them right in the mouth, it seems like they stay in retreat the entire game. And nobody exemplifies that on their team more than the performances or lack thereof than that man right there, Baker Mayfield, who's the #1 overall pick in the draft, Jacoby, and may not be their quarterback or their answer at that spot after this season.
Yep, and it's worth mentioning that Stefanski said he took out Baker for health reasons more than performance reasons, but you know who did perform? TJ Watt and Bud Dupree. It just seemed like every single snap the Browns had, Watt and Dupree were doing whatever they wanted, and that kind of pressure leads to picks like that one from Minkah Fitzpatrick. And honestly, like Dupree right here, not blocked, just coming off the ball and tackling Baker. Look who's with them right there. TJ Watt, look at Watt break up this run. Like their interior line is so good, especially at the ends, the way that they stop the run and create pressure. It'll be so much fun to see what happens when they face Tennessee in that big game coming up in week 7. And Jalen, there was so much action in the NFL. There was MLB playoffs. But one thing that we need to stand up and really discuss is the future of Odell Beckham Jr. when it comes to this Browns team. Jalen, we have one sentiment, and it is what?
Free OBJ. Period.
Free OBJ.
He's wasting his prime years right now, Jacoby. I think he's caught for 100 yards maybe 2 or 3 times since he's been in Cleveland. He's still a terrific talent, one of the most talented receivers in the game. But that skill will not get unlocked with Baker Mayfield as his starting quarterback. It's just not going to happen. Free OBJ.
And we've seen him attack things on the sidelines, and he was back at it after this loss. He was slamming helmets, he was beating up water coolers, and that sort of frustration that he's been able to suppress during a couple of years in Cleveland is starting to bubble to the surface, and hopefully eventually it will bubble up so much that someone decides to trade him to a team where he can be more productive, because I love watching OBJ play football. And Jalen, as I was mentioning, there was MLB playoffs, there was huge boxing matches, there was this whole slate of interesting games in the NFL, but there was one thing that stood out to me more than everything else in the world of sports, and that was Trevor Lawrence against Georgia Tech. In the first half, he had 5 touchdowns, threw for over 400 yards, barely played in the second half. And I'm watching all these NFL games, and I'm saying, why win if you're the New York Jets? Why win if you're a one-win team when you have a prospect like Trevor Lawrence waiting right there? He is the best quarterback prospect coming out of college that I have seen in my entire life. Trevor Lawrence has the size, he can run, he makes great decisions. He threw an interception yesterday. It was the first interception he had thrown in 366 passes. Trevor Lawrence is just a no-brainer number 1 pick in the NFL draft. And if you're the New York Jets, do you know why you keep Adam Gase as the head coach? Because he's not going to win a game. The New York Jets might be playing chess instead of checkers with this whole thing by keeping Gase around. Because if you are an NFL team and you have no championships or playoff aspirations this year, you have to look at Trevor Lawrence and make a real run at win never for Trevor. There it is. There's my rhyme for Trevor. Win never for Trevor. Are you buying win never for Trevor?
I'm buying Trevor. I'm not buying the acronym for him. Here's what I will say, though. Be careful what you ask for. And here's what I mean. I've seen a lot of teams draft a quarterback number 1 overall. Where does Sam Dalton go?
Sam Darnold?
Did Dalton go number? Where Darnold go? Number 1? He went number 1, right? Okay. Where did
Kyler,
Baker
you've got
go?
Joe
Baker
Burrow.
went,
You've got Baker.
Number 1. Okay, Joe Burrow went number 1. And so I agree with you. Terrific talent. And he's dominant. Come on, Georgia Tech, the rambling wreck. 73-7. Come on now. Represent the A better than that. But in all seriousness, no, Clemson is that deal. Trevor Lawrence is a player that's a franchise changer. And the Jets have a chance to get him. They're in pole position. Don't mess this up, Jets. Don't mess this up.
Darnold did get picked number 3, but when you mentioned Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, all number 1 quarterbacks that have been picked recently, none of them are the prospect that Trevor Lawrence is. I cannot wait to watch him play on Sundays. Hopefully it will not be with the terrible New York Jets. Jalen, the Dodgers played their way into the World Series, and Lomachenko went down. He lost on Saturday night. We will break that all down and much more, and a Lions win. Right after this, you're watching Jalen and Jacoby. Coming to you live from Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport District of Manhattan and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, you decide what we discuss. It is time for Keep It Moving.
Wu-Tang! Wu-Tang!
If you would like to discuss the topics, hit the brakes. If not, we will keep it moving. And we start with the Dodgers winning Game 7.
Hit the brakes!
Playing their way into the World Series. Home runs by Kiki and Bellinger propelled the Dodgers to a 4-3 win, and they now face the Rays World Series. Your thoughts?
Both of us spent so much time in Los Angeles, living out there almost 25 years, and I'm enjoying seeing a lot of my friends and co-workers living their best lives. Watching the Lakers celebrating win the championship, watching the Dodgers come back from 3-1 to now advance to the World Series. Sager at shortstop has been crazy. He was the NLCS MVP. Watching my guy, Mookie, climb the wall and take a home run away. But this is for Atlanta. This is for Atlanta. I feel for you. I saw it happen in the Super Bowl. Y'all just fired y'all GM for the Falcons. Y'all just fired your coach. Y'all was up 3-1 and y'all lost this lead. Like, just the opposite of what I said about the Lakers fans. I feel so bad for those that root for the Braves. It's crazy.
After jumping out to an early lead and then giving up, the Ravens held on to beat the Eagles. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
I got 2 words for everybody out there that love football. You ready for this? I got 2 words, everybody out there that love football. Player safety. Didn't Philadelphia play Sunday? And ain't they playing again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Keep it moving.
Keep moving.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Well, to your aforementioned ATLians, they did get a win in the NFL when the Falcons beat the Vikings. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Great to see Julio back. Keep it moving for now.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
I can't believe it actually happened. I can't believe it happened. The Lions won a football game in the NFL, a professional football game. Jalen, the floor is yours for the Roars.
Hit the brakes. I'm not going to act like we didn't play against Jacksonville. I'm not going to act like I didn't shed a tear seeing two in another uniform. Those things did happen. But I was really happy the way Swift responded as a young player to rush for over 100 and get into the end zone a couple of times. It was great to see my Lions take care of business like we supposed to against a team that might go 0 for 16, something that we have history in doing.
Well, ever since Swift dropped that pass in week 1, I have been pulling for him, and it was so good to see him run for 116 and have 2 touchdowns. Congratulations to Detroit and the Lions. This may very well be the last time you win this entire season. Moving on. Very interesting contest.
At least the Jaguars won one. I said that they hadn't won. Y'all won one. Okay, y'all won one.
Very interesting contest between the Patriots and the Broncos. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
Jalen, the Broncos won the game 18-12 with 6 field goals, and the Patriots just looked anemic on offense. Jalen, your thoughts?
You know how much I love Cam. Cam. Jacoby. A couple of times it looked like he was throwing some frisbees out there. Can't even front. I used to play a lot of frisbee in the hood, and sometimes it looks good when you flick it the wrist, and then sometimes it looks like a lame duck, like it's going straight to the ground. And that's how some of his passes look. And I know we're going to talk about the time that he had off from practicing, but you know what? Ryan Tannehill had that time off too. And I didn't see him throwing the football like that. So this was just a bad performance all the way around for the Patriots. 6 field goals beat you by the Denver Broncos. They must respond. Cam will respond.
Absolutely. Now the Patriots and the Lions have the same record. Shocking. Moving on to the Sunday night game between 2 NFC powerhouses. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
Jalen, the 49ers pulled this one out. And remember last week when Jimmy G was benched and the 49ers looked terrible? They looked the opposite this week, especially Jimmy G. Your thoughts about the Sunday night game?
You know I like to play this game called good win and bad loss. That's what disqualifies ass if you're a Rams fan as a bad loss. Just because the 49ers have lost so many people that are the top performers on defense, and you said it, Jimmy Garoppolo was benched in the last week, and then you come back the next week and only score 16 points, Rams? Cooper Kupp dropping the football? Like, normally he's sure-handed, Jacoby. I saw him drop a touchdown, too. So this is uncharacteristic of what I saw for the Rams, and the 49ers did a great job of keeping Aaron Donald from wrecking the game.
They absolutely did. That's a good point. Jalen, something happened on Saturday night that I never thought I would see for like 4 more years.
Hit the brakes.
Vasily Lomachenko went down. We will hit the brakes and celebrate Teofimo Lopez's decision win over Vasily Lomachenko. Your thoughts on the big fight?
Brooklyn, stand up. We talked about Biggie needing a statue outside of Barclays. I can't wait to go see this young man do some amazing fighting in his hometown and try to get him a statue a la Oscar de la Hoya outside of Staples Center. You keep getting wins like this. And I'm somebody that thought Loma would find a way to get it done because he just doesn't lose. And Lopez always wanted this. Even after his previous fight, he's about to mess it up. And then Bob Aaron was like, nah, dog, you got to chill. Let him be in the ring. Let him promote the fight. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess it up. Go put your arm around him. Make nice. And for him to go out and perform the way he did was outstanding show for boxing on ESPN, not pay-per-view, on ESPN. Big shout out, Top Rank Boxing.
That was an amazing fight. Just the power that Teofimo Lopez had was just, it was just too much for Vasily Lomachenko to take. Jalen, we have not 1, but 2 huge Monday Night Football games that we will get you ready for right after this. Stay tuned. You're watching Jalen. Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m., we have a huge UFC lightweight championship bout between Khabib Nurmagomedov and the always cagey Justin KG. That is this Saturday at 2 p.m. Welcome back to Jalen Jacoby. We have two big Monday Night Football games, and we start with the one that starts at 5 p.m., and that is the Bills against the Chiefs. Can the Bills beat the Super Bowl champs?
I don't believe they will. No Le'Veon Bell yet, who they just signed. There's just so many weapons for Eric Bieniemy unlocking that team. Look at Mahomes. He's going to do something special to make us watch football. Kelsey hit his head on the goalpost once or twice. Clyde Edwards-Helaire probably scored once or twice. The Chiefs are going to respond, and they're going to put up a big game.
Can the Cardinals score 100 points against this terrible Cowboys defense in the nightcap?
Let's go, D-Hop. I might have to reach out to D-Hop to come on after this week. You know, this might be a good week for me to have D-Hop come back on. 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns.
We will be back to break it all
come
down
back on
tomorrow on ESPN at 2 p.m. Make sure you tune in.